Dakota One, what's good, brother?
Chillin'. You look like you're ready for business.
Do I?
Coming in hot.
Does business mean like ready to go to sleep? Because that's about where I'm at. Ready for a long.
I'm sorry. Am I keeping you awake?
No.
Am I intruding on your beauty sleep there?
No, this is probably the let me chill. You're gonna get me in trouble, man.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
What's good, man? Once again, real quick, Kev. I'm sorry for all the party people in the place to be like, these issues are me as far as being able to record. And my job has decided that they want me to be accessible at all hours of the day and night. So, man, I'll be glad when this whole little thing is over. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're all right. I don't know if anyone missed us. I'm starting to wonder.
Said anything?
I'm sad.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm fine. You guys have Drake and Kendrick. You'll be okay.
Can you believe that? I saw today, and I think this is to be confirmed and further reported on. But how is there going to be a headline at least, or a few headlines that say Hamas has accepted a ceasefire deal and Drake and Kendrick are still rapping at each other?
That's not a headline. Please don't tell me that's a real headline.
No, not the whole thing. The headline was Hamas has, and I put in parentheses my own tentatively, accepted a ceasefire deal, period. And then my question is, so why is Drake and Kendrick still?
Okay, I thought you were saying that was an act. I was about to be like, look, dude, I've been requesting that we shut a lot of journalists down.
Yeah, no. I don't read headlines off DJ Vlad's website.
Oh. Wait, Hamas is black?
Slice.
If it's DJ Vlad, I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Kev.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had the longest day? I spelled snitching wrong, by the way. There, I just couldn't fix that. I had the longest Saturday in history. And it was a bad Saturday. It was just long.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you mind if I run down this last Saturday?
There's nothing in the world I could think of that I would rather hear than a rundown of your Saturday.
So this is it. You know I coach my daughter's team. I think I say it every show now. My daughter scored her first basket this Saturday at a tournament. Yeah, man. The tournament was in Torrance. So that tells you we had it right. It's a mash, but we got there. You know, the success was that she scored her first basket on a clean crossover like a clean one, like an actual clean crossover.
Okay.
To a in traffic layup. So it was nice.
Nice.
Coached 2 games. Hung out with the team. I also had to DJ and MC. Ice actually let me DJ with him.
Wow.
That evening, right? So DJ the Chandler and Bloom event at the Music Hall in LA.
Okay.
So, this is a esteemed, very prestigious event. I had to put on a suit. Got everything organized because I was going to go directly from the game to 2 games that day. Coached 2 games. Got dressed in Torrance in the parking lot of a Macy's and went to. All right, but I'm skipping ahead. I organized everything because I'm like, all right, I got to go straight there, right? Then I realized, of course, you forget one thing, right? I forgot a belt.
Oh.
No, shoes were good. Belt, forgot a belt. I'm like, can't go without a belt. So I got a little over an hour to get from Torrance to downtown LA. Plus, I got to pick up a belt.
But you're at Macy's.
Well, okay, I'm around the corner. I'm not too far from the Delamo Mall.
Okay.
So, check it out. I look at the traffic. It's a 30-minute drive, all green. Boom. Cool. Roll over to the Macy's. Can't find parking. It's Delamo Mall. Find a little parking spot next to a pole, but the truck next to that parking spot kind of parked crazy. Mash my car onto the pole trying to get into the parking spot.
Oh, no.
That was whack. Was like, all right, well, I don't have time to worry about this. So I run in there. I'm like, yo, where's the men's section of this Macy's? They're like, nah, the men's section is actually across the street. Go back, get to the car, pull out of the parking spot, go across the street where there are an incredible amount of parking spots. An incredible amount. The most amount of parking spots you'll ever see. It looks like a current mall. No parking issues. Not a pole in sight.
God bless you.
Run in, grab a belt. That wasn't an issue. Fortunately, that wasn't. Normally, like if you're in a hurry, there's always somebody in line. Like, well, what about the green tie or the orange? It's like, nah, this was cool. That worked out fine. Got to the car, changed clothes in the car, got fresh. Brought my brush and deodorant and everything, so I was ready to go. Get in, turn on the maps. Accident. On a 110.
Oh.
30-minute drive is now 50-minute drive, and I got to be there in 30 minutes. So, boom, hop on. I got the fast track pass. So, boom, the 110 works out. Of course, you got to pass your exit and curve around into, like, the Netherlands of downtown Los Angeles. But either way, I made it with about 2 minutes to spare. Get there, park, get in there. Boom. All right, me and Icy Ice is talking. We're good. I made it, right? Safe. Mm-hmm. Car scraped up. Safe. Cool. Ice, we should really check to see if my 2011 Mac works with this
mixer
Rev 7.
Oh, controller.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
He's like, no, we should be good. I'm thinking, yeah, we should be good because we use we use an updated mixer at Snapback, and I don't have any problems there. Of course, it didn't work. Now, I'm trying to download drivers and figure out which one I'm supposed to be DJing. So, of course, ICE hires me to DJ, and I can't DJ. Now I'm upstairs on my hotspot trying to figure out the Serato situation, right? Like, this is not the craziest day in the world, right? I'm like, oh, my God. So, boom. 10, 15 minutes late for my DJ. We're good as far as everything goes, but I figure it out, right? I get the right version. Everything works. Download the drivers. Boom, I'm on. Now we're in the good part, right? I get to play. I'm playing for them, playing for dinner. They just want vibes. I get to play Dilla. The most important part of this story is 2 Kev Sakota remixes got played that night. Right?
What?
I played the If It Isn't Love joint and Real Love Kev Sakota remixes. Please go get. Where can they get those, Kev?
Oh, KevSakota.com. Yeah, the mix.
Please go to KevSakota.com.
The Quarantine Cookbook mixtape. In stores now.
Mixtape. Available now at KevSakota.com. Let me tell y'all something, DJs. These are lifesaver remixes. Trust me. They every single one has a perfect purpose. Anyway, boom. All good. Everything works out. They're auctioning things for $13,000. I can't even count that high at this point. I don't know what that type of money looks like. Time for us to go. I offer the turntables on the mic, which is my element, of course. But we have the one drunk white woman.
Uh-oh. She's like, play, they not like us. They not like us. Nope.
I got you, though. You're on point, but wrong song. We got an hour to rock the crowd. We get the crowd into a frenzy. They're dancing. The lady said they've never danced like that at any of these events.
Okay.
Of course, this is mostly Icy Ice with me just trying to fit into what the greatness of Icy Ice is.
Sure.
Play Getting Jiggy with it.
Wow.
Dude, for like 30 minutes of that hour, this woman was standing at the front of the stage. Would not stop asking for it. Ice is frustrated. I'm, of course, like, oh, my God. Because I don't know. This is the thing. Kev, explain this to the people. All right? Uh-huh. When you're doing an event like this, right, this is money that knows the mayor and governor money. Like, this isn't like money, right? I don't know who this is, so I can't do it like I'm at Snapback where I'm like, man, get your ass away from the state. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like that's not an option. I don't know who I'm telling to shut the fuck up, right?
Sure.
So I've kind of just taken it and yeah, it was the worst case scenario. Like,
did you have the song?
Yeah, okay. Ice had it. He just did. He was trying to get in. we had the crowd, so it's like
right,
just make a left and to get jiggy with it. So eventually we did it. Crowd was rocked. Got home at midnight, roughly midnight, which is an early gig for most of us, right?
Sure.
And check my phone. My daughter's next game, 9 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Nice.
So that was it. Possibly the world's most eventful Saturday, and I still didn't add in the fact that the plastic engine splash cover on the bottom of my car decided to drop down on the freeway. So all the way home from the gig, I could just hear that joint scraping on the concrete. Like, yo.
I saw somebody driving around like that the other day, and it wasn't you. And I was like, do you not hear that?
You do. Yeah, so I gotta get that fixed. Which is basically gonna be the money I got paid for this gig is ultimately gonna go to fixing that car. Oh,
guys, the other day it was funny because I was looking at a post that something Ice posted, and I was like, Ice is a handsome DJ. Let's face it, right? You can't take anything away from him, just his natural level of good looks. But what I've never
almost the same as he looked when he was young.
Which makes it worse.
Aged. Yeah.
The thing that I did not realize that I was trying to put my finger on all this time that I finally realized is that he's one of the few dudes who DJs with earbuds, and I'm like, see,
yeah,
he's an innovator.
I don't know how he does it. Because at this event, he was saying, yo, you got to mix in your headphones. We don't have any monitors here. They're trying to keep a certain volume, of course, right? It's a dinner. Yeah. It's more of a dinner than a party, right? So, for the first maybe 3 songs, like, I had to readjust to mixing in my head. I hadn't mixed in my headphones in, like, what feels like 150 years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Of course, I usually have some type of monitor, whether it's loud enough for, that's arguable, right? But mixing in my headphones was like, oh yeah, wait a minute. So the first couple of blends was like complete train wrecks. It was like, all right, let me just, it was fade in, fade out. Like it took me a couple songs to get back used to something that I had been doing since I first ever touched the turntable. But it just took me a second.
That was most of the places that a couple things. First of all, that is I developed some patter with the crowd, like when I was doing weddings, right? Because wedding, you know that everyone's important, right? But you also know that there are 2 people who are supremely important.
Correct.
Right? So someone would come up and do the drunk request or whatever. And so I would immediately launch into, well, I know you're not the bride or the groom. So immediately I'm about to say no to you. However, if you bring 10 people up here that also want to hear that song, guess what's going to get played? Boom.
Sure.
They never show up again. Or they do, and then we play the song. Whatever, right?
Right.
But that's a lot easier than the situation you were in. But also, in terms of the headphones, pretty much every place I played for the last 3 years, not every place, I played some nice places, but we didn't have monitors. We barely had good sound in the it's like a bar kind of situation, right? So I was like serious headphone.
Yeah, I will fully admit that my experience as a DJ over the last 10 years, when I have DJed, has been fully spoiled. When I'm invited to do something, normally it's a club with quality sound or good enough sound, or it's Snapback, which, of course we have not only some of the best DJs in the entire world, but their understanding of equipment and sound is superior to most.
What, you didn't give Ice your rider? Your tech rider?
Well, he'd have threw it back at me like, here's all your green jelly beans and get a new computer.
He would have looked at you and he would have said, do you see how handsome I am? What's wrong with you?
First of all, this is Ice, though. This is why one of my favorite human beings in the world is DJ Icy Ice, because DJ Icy Ice will shade you in the purest way of shades. Okay, this is what happened. I'm like, yo, so do you have you seen anybody in this situation? He was like, well, most of the DJs I know kind of stay within the 5 to 6, 7 years of the most recent equipment. So that was like, yo, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to say it like that. Come on, man. So I don't know if he'll ever ask me to DJ again, but I'm sure he'll ask me to MC again.
Like OS 9? What do you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it still worked. I cannot bring myself. We could go to the break after this. I've been doing all the talking, but we'll still go to the break. Listen.
At least you have a Mac.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to buy. I bought my daughter a new Mac. I cannot bring myself to buy another computer.
No, I would show up with a PC. Just be like, listen.
I mean, it probably would be much more easily compatible. I cannot bring myself to spend any more money on another computer. But anyway, Kev, we have a few things that we want to get into. We got to talk about my man Jerome.
Jerome.
You know what I mean?
Jerome.
Jerome. Romy Rome. Yo, you ready to get to the other side, Kev?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Rap Sucks Radio. Blah, 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 blah.
What up, y'all? You alive on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Trek Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
Jerome, get my change.
Yo, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you would like to catch past episodes of our show, you can go to rapsucksradio.com or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. You can also catch us on the internet, man, at Rapsucks Radio on Instagram or at Rapsucks Radio on Threads or RSR Podcast on Facebook. We, I believe, are the remaining RSR podcast. I believe the other one that lobbied a complaint against us doesn't exist anymore.
Hey, they not like us.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Kev, man, let's jump right into it. I've titled this episode, it could actually change. His name is Jerome.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Topic number 1 is titled, now we know where Kramer got it from. So, the reason is Jerome Seinfeld. You guys know him as Jerry. I call him Jerome. The reason why is because I have a coworker who will not accept that there are several Jewish people with the name, Jewish men with the name Jerome. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing right now? It's just Jerome. It's just a name. No, that's not true. I'm like, all right, let's do this. I looked up. I was like, look at the names. He's like, no, man, that's crazy. He goes to his Jewish homeboy, and his Jewish homeboy's like, yeah, that's a very common name. They just kind of switched it to Jerry this time.
For a second, I thought you were having this argument with a young Jewish man.
No, we're literally like discussing another group of people's culture. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, it's not an insult. First of all, you're insulting me by saying there's no way, right, they'd have that black ass, Negro ass, colored ass name. No, man, Jerome is not like, it's right. And I leaned into the microphone for all of you who do not believe me. Do you want to know another common or formerly common Jewish name? Shoshana.
Okay, yeah, sure.
If there are Shoshanas, there are definitely Jeromes. And I mean this with no insult. That honestly, if you're taking it as an insult, it's an insult to me, not to you, because you're saying, well, black people have them names, so there's no way nobody else would have them names. And I'm telling you, black people have all sorts of names. If you haven't experienced that before, there are Keiths, there are Jeromes, there are Reginalds, there are Charleses. You might find a Jerome. You might find a black man with the name Calvin. We have all sorts of names. The names are vast, far, and wide. However,
did I ever tell you about the time there's one other prominent besides Redman, prominent Reggie, who I've worked with.
It is I, says me.
And well, besides
you. Nah, there's no others.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm just saying I worked with the guy.
No,
good guy.
Reggies don't accept other Reggies, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, whatever. You reminded me of that Spike Lee, the meme, just went around. Him looking at Reggie Miller crazy. But one of our mutual coworkers saw his name fully written out, which she wasn't used to seeing. And she was reading it off for some reason. I can't remember why, but she said she pronounced it Reginald.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I can't believe this never made it back to you.
You got it. Not ever. Ever. Wow.
Oh. It appears that I've struck a chord.
Yes. It's not a minor, just to be clear. However, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got it. She got to get it together.
We'll keep that. We'll keep that holstered.
No, we won't. We'll throw that one right in the trash. We're done with that one. We have officially completed that one. All right, man, look. Jerry Seinfeld, Jerome, believes political correctness is quote unquote why TV isn't funny anymore. The source that we have for this is NPR.org. The players involved are Jerome's in the house. I said Jerome's in the house. I love that his name's Jerome. It's like a kindred spirit to some degree, right? All right. In the midst, yeah. Wait, Suge has texted me snipe like 500 times at this point.
I was listening to that episode. That had me so happy.
Oh my God, yeah. I have to crop that, like, cut that and use that as a drop for us. All right, look, in the midst of much more important stuff happening in the world, this is the NPR article, by the way, folks. You may have missed the recent interview with Jerry Seinfeld while doing the press rounds to promote his upcoming movie. The billionaire comedian offered a few thoughts on, quote unquote, why TV isn't funny anymore. His explanation: political correctness and the extreme left. His new movie, by the way, is about the race to invent the Pop-Tart, a topic so edgy and iconoclastic that I'm surprised that this whole woke mob that runs Hollywood has even let it happen at all. All right. I won't waste anyone's time arguing about how funny today's TV is compared to the TV of yesteryear, but I think it is worth dwelling for a moment on the nature of Seinfeld's critique, which is, by the way, one that he and other comedians have been making for nigh on a decade now, and that is actually very true. The whole woke thing has been going on for much longer than it needs to have gone on for. It's longer than, I don't know what has gone on for longer at this point. This damn battle.
Maybe your Saturday.
Right. It's one of three things. Either my damn Saturday, this damn battle, or them arguing about how they can't make the millions of dollars they've been making because the world is too damn woke. Anyway. It falls on the line with the rich tradition of blaming political correctness for all the ills of the modern world. Donald Trump has done it, blah, blah. Let's just cut to the meat of this, Kev. Mm-hmm. In the end, my man Jerome is saying that wokeness, that being a thing, has destroyed TV. I will bounce past this to you, Kev.
Yeah. He's annoying. I'll say this, he looks fantastic for a guy who just turned 70. Gotta say that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But, he doesn't seem like the most, he doesn't seem like somebody I want to just sit down and have a chat with, So he's been going around doing, I think I actually saw this interview. What's that?
I was saying, what's the deal with sitting down and having chats? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't get in a car and have coffee with him. Not that he would invite me, but hey.
That was the most endearing thing towards Seinfeld that I'd ever seen. But go ahead. I'm
fantastic. But I think I heard this. I think I either heard a clip of this interview. I heard this somewhere else when he said it, and I was like, "Oh, why do you have to? Why? No, it didn't need to be said." You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
But what's hilarious about that is that he was talking about why. I think the question had something to do with could Seinfeld exist today? Which is a fair question.
Yeah, sure.
So I kind of knew where he was going to go. I kind of expected him to say it, so I don't know why I would have been surprised or anything like that. But what's so hilarious to me is that Wifey and I have been slowly but surely and happily making our way through the last season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I don't know if you watch.
I don't. I should.
But
It's Always Sunny, I've never seen.
It's Always Sunny. It's who actually is hilarious because I love that show. Even though it is supposedly based in a city that it does not deserve it. But it's funny because I think Rob McElhenney said something about this comment as well. I don't know what he said, but they're obviously doing a funny show and still doing it. But Curb Your Enthusiasm, of course, was created by Seinfeld's partner, right? Larry David. Mm-hmm. And the last episode we saw tackled a truly deep, philosophical, and racially charged issue. Let me just, without spoiling things, let you know that one of the central props in the episode was watermelon.
Okay.
And my wife and I were almost pissing our pants watching this episode. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Utterly hilarious. I wasn't offended. I don't believe she was offended. I would like to think that you wouldn't be offended, nor would anybody else be offended because of the way it was presented, right? But it was funny as hell. So it's stuff like that I'm like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. We've talked about this before though, right? It's like,
yeah. You know where I stand on this.
Yeah. It's completely lazy. I think this article quotes Gary Gulman, toward the end of it where he says that, what does he say here? Stand-up comedian Gary Gulman. I noticed that the people who are saying you can't say anything are saying everything on Netflix for $20 million a whack, which is absolutely true. I mean, not all of them, but the problem is that, yeah, there's a lot of people who have a problem with, whatever, being a little bit more polite to people that you've been shitting on for the last 400 years, trying to be a little more polite to them, while your lifetime progresses on at whatever shitty pace it's progressing on at, sees that as a real problem and impediment to their success and happiness.
I will say this much. So, 30 Rock was a relatively woke show.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite shows. They attacked the racial issue with Wayne Brady, right? And in the end, it was, can we all just not get along? She didn't like him, right? And she was like, but it's not because he kept trying to enforce that it was because he was black, and she was trying to enforce that it's because she doesn't like him as a person.
Right.
And in the end, it kind of crossed this kind of like this interesting conversation that has been had probably in a much harsher tone or much more defensive tone, which is like, look, can I just not like you for who you are? Does it have to be, if I don't like you, does there have to be something racially attached to it, right? To me, that's a legitimate question that some people ask every day in an office. Like, right? Like, I don't like Jerome, and it's not because he's Jewish. It's because, he stands at the water cooler and talks about the Boston Celtics all day. Big shout out to Jeff, the Boston fan. Right? Like, so I can tell you a lot of reasons why TV is less interesting than it was back in the day. I mean, reality TV would be my biggest answer. If you don't find television interesting, it's because it's competing with reality TV, which people seem to find much more interesting because, right, obviously, if you look at this most recent rap battle, like, quote unquote, T is such a huge deal. So to me, that's the answer to this. Like, he's saying woke and this and that. I'm like, the least woke thing you'll ever see is actually network television at this point.
Well,
because there's so much damn reality TV on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I should add to what I said. Obviously, Curb Your Enthusiasm is on HBO. They have a lot of latitude, but he deals with a lot of, touchy subjects in a way that's just funny because it kind of points out how silly a lot of it is without, without like casting judgment about whether you should feel upset about something or whatever. 30 Rock's a great example because that was on NBC. Even Always Sunny is on like FX or whatever. So they probably have a little more latitude as well. But it's all just like, hey man, if you want to go out there and make Henny Youngman jokes in 2024, do whatever the hell you want. I don't know. You want to be Lenny Bruce? Go ahead. I don't think it's going to work, but it's not because of everybody else. It's not because of all the people of color. It's probably just because it's old. It's tired. It's been done. It's
just you too, technically, Jerome.
Yeah.
That also includes you. I'm just saying, like, it depends on the perspective you choose. I'm just saying that it's also you.
That said, it's about goddamn time that somebody finally make a movie about the Pop-Tart. I know I'm not the only one thinking
I keep seeing billboards for that movie, and I'm like, what the hell is this about? And then this article came up. I'm like, oh, okay. Look, man, I'd like to sort of round out this conversation, and I'm sorry, I'm off the mic if y'all can. It's my bad. I'd like to sort of round out this conversation with what you just explained is also a factor, right? So, some of the better television shows are the ones with the latitude that are on FX, that are on HBO, like, Archer in its early years as a cartoon,
sure,
right? People love Rick and Morty, like, and I know that these wouldn't be, but I'm saying there was a time where people didn't branch out to those type of things. So some of the more challenging, edgy stuff is actually outside of network television. But I'm telling you now, I'm sticking to my point that network television is far less woke than you're giving it credit for by definition. Because again, reality TV is the least woke thing, if you want to talk about woke, that you'll ever experience. Like in my brief time watching, I watch my wife is watching something, whatever. Not all of that is on network television. I'm just saying, I don't know, man. Like most network TV to me now is basically America's, what's it called? Like America, the little trying to make somebody a star.
Yeah, America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent or something like those are the things that I now see that have replaced. I guess he wants like Archie Bunker back on TV. Like I don't know what he's looking for, but
which, by the way, All in the Family was which I never realized at the time, one of the most woke shows.
It was.
It could possibly have been in that time.
Archie Bunker was every opinion and feeling and theory Archie Bunker had was openly challenged and debunked on that show.
Yeah. And the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, no, it's not about the language you're allowed to use on HBO. Or when I say latitude, for me, it's like, South Park, it's little kids cursing up a storm, and it's one of the most progressive shows going, if you really sit down and watch it. Same thing with The Simpsons to a certain extent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just about whether, you choose to be offended by it. But not just that. It's like if for a long, long time, a lot of content without comedians or actors or writers consciously making an effort to do it, we're telling jokes that made people who look like you or people who look like me or any woman kind of go, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, that's funny,
Yeah.
But nobody cared. Nobody asked us. So who are we going to complain to, right? So now if something makes you gives you that reaction. The time of the 70-year-old white dude is maybe not as prime as it used to be 30 years ago. You might have to just take it on the chin a little bit, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be plenty to go around.
I'm gonna give an example. Like people are quoting that as punching down, right? Like which I have my qualms with, but there's a lot of backlash on Dave Chappelle, right?
Yeah.
And I am a huge Dave Chappelle fan, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Although I didn't like his last special, it wasn't funny to me. I didn't dislike it because of the content, though. However, I did understand, which is why I haven't responded or said anything on this show about how people feel about Dave Chappelle. There's a group of people that feel like he's telling the type of jokes that for their particular group was like, all right, okay. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong because I understand that feeling.
Sure.
Like, I totally get it.
And that's kind of the point. It's like,
yeah,
if you're offended, I get it.
Get it.
I'm going to try not to offend you in the same way in our personal direct interactions every day. Right. I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect, by the way, but I get it. I hear you. You know,
I am going to watch and repeat watch every Dave Chappelle special. I'm just not going to put it all. I'm not going to be defensive in response to your offense. Like, I'm just like, there are a lot of times where you'll see somebody. And look, I don't know if you guys be listening to the show, like, well, I mean, that's not going about it the right way either. But in my opinion, it is, because a lot of times, man, like, all right, man, you can find that funny, right? But the defense of it, when I'm telling you I don't see it funny, that's where the whole back and forth gets in, right? Like, if a trans person is telling you, yo, I just don't think Dave Chappelle, I'm offended by that. It's like, all right, well, no, I understand. Like, I don't know if you need to say anything further other than I understand. And, I get it. I've been there before, and peace. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but to say, well, why are you so offended? And you shouldn't be. No, I mean, people have a right to enjoy, and they also have a right to not enjoy. And I think that's what this whole woke thing, I think that's what's bothering a lot of comedians about this woke thing, is like, you're not funny right now. Right? Like, It's not just that first of all, you're just not as funny. I'm be quite honest with you. Like, I didn't think the last Chris Rock special was funny almost at all. And I've had this conversation with a few of my friends who thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't particularly find any offense to it. Like, it was like, whatever. But I just didn't think it was funny. You know what I'm saying? Cat Williams' new special, I don't think it's funny.
Oh, I haven't.
Does that mean that it's bad or good? No. To me, it wasn't funny. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I was to say that publicly, which I wouldn't, outside of, I wouldn't go on threads and say that, because I'm not really willing to have this argument back and forth. I don't think it's funny. The Drake Kendrick joints, some of them joints was cool, some of them wasn't to me. But I'm not going to get on here and argue. And I think that's where woke, anti-woke, or whatever people have a problem, is they want to fight this fight like, like there's a purpose behind it. And it's like, nah, I get to be offended too. I get to be offended as much as you get to enjoy it. That's the end of the story.
Because, well, first of all, not that there's a line of comedians asking me what I think about this issue or whatever, but to say something like, which is the go-to line, first of all, you pride yourself on saying things that people see in everyday life. Well, most comedians pride themselves on saying things, expressing things that people see in their everyday life through a unique lens, a unique perspective that they've come up with in an original way. That's what makes it interesting, and hopefully that's what also makes it funny. But they all say, a very similar thing, which boils down to roughly, you can't say anything anymore. It's like,
right.
Well, the only reason you got in this situation is because you fucking said it. Because you had the right to say it and you went and said it. So, what's your problem? You can say whatever you want. You know what I mean? Right. And I know we just talked about this a couple weeks ago, but the thing that bugs me is like, when you did your special, not everybody laughed at every joke. And that was on TV.
Right.
So if one trans person got upset at you and that's going to ruin your whole day, dude, you're going to have, every day's going to be bad for you,
Yeah.
Just like all the people who thought that your stupid airline travel joke that had been done a million times wasn't as funny as all the other stuff you said. Were they canceling you because you sucked?
Right.
And you blew that, you bombed that bit? It's like, no, just do what you're doing. Then try and get better. And then, try and figure out if you really want to talk about trans people, then maybe you should talk to some trans people and find out a way that you could do it that's actually funny to everybody, including them. Otherwise, shut up and write.
Shut up and write, Joe. And look, and when I say that, I don't, and when we say that, we don't mean it in a way like a LeBron James, shut up and dribble way. We mean it in a like, come on, man, we've gone through this so much. There's to me, it's a stick now too, right? It's a gimmick because there's an audience for that. If you watch the comedy special, there's if you're losing an audience, it's sort of like a rapper. If you're losing an audience at a hip hop show, you'd be like, "Yo,
blame it on the DJ."
Nah, right? But you could in my case. That DJ Serato don't even work. But no, the easiest way, of course, depending upon audiences, who here loves hip hop, right? And everybody cheers. Because, if you don't, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
like a hypocrite.
But that's the thing. When you said that, did a biker in a leather jacket with a long beard stand up and say, "Hell no, hell no"?
But however,
you're canceled.
I don't love hip hop. ZZ Top is the closest to hip hop.
I actively do not like hip hop. How about that, fella?
That's a show somewhere between San Diego and Los Angeles. Anyway,
SUNN, Sons of Anarchy.
What was I getting at here? What I was saying was that's the kind of thing now. Like, you can't say anything anymore, and the crowd cheers, woo! Or, I don't want to say this because I might get canceled, and the crowd goes, woo! Or the, F it, man, say it, dude! And I'm like, dude, audience member, sit your goofy self down. Like,
and at the end of the day, that's the thing that annoys me about it, because it's like, if you're on stage at any venue of any respectable size, if you're doing a special on whatever platform it is, if you're in front of more than 100 people, you have some influence over people, right? And if the way you choose to wield that influence is to energize the fucking stupidest people in the room, the 10 stupidest people in the room, you're probably going about it in the wrong way. It's a silly thing to do. And it's annoying. It's super duper annoying for the other 90 people who are like, really?
Yeah, just tell the jokes, man. We with it. Yeah. So you're saying that the person who says, yo, I don't want to say this because I don't want to get canceled. You're saying that from the back I shouldn't heckle. You said it the last 10 specials.
No, that's what I would have said it already.
But you've been saying it and you're still here.
No, do it again and do it in the exact same way you did it the last 10 times.
We're all so incredibly not offended.
Pronounce my buddy's full name again.
Jerome Seinfeld.
Oh, man.
Shauna Weinstein. All right, anyway. It's so funny because people are going to think I'm making fun of Jewish names, and I'm absolutely not. I'm saying that if people think my coworker would not accept, just to be clear, that those names weren't black names. And I'm like, technically, they're not.
I think you're going to piss off both sides of Drake's family.
I probably am.
You're next.
But I think Kendrick has done a lot to do that already.
I know nothing about this guy, by the way.
I was going to say this, and I just realized this is actually the topic title. I forgot that I wrote this topic title, and I was going to say this exact same thing. No, honest, I'm being 100%. I've been so sick of DJ Vlad for a long. I'm sick of this dude, yo.
What's his story? Explain him to me in 30 seconds.
The dude that gets rapper. I mean, it's the rapper's fault. It's not DJ Vlad, but basically, you get rappers go on his show or whatever for the last umpteen years to either snitch on themselves or snitch on somebody else. Or it's always like the goofiest thing. And
is he like a gossip kind of dude or what?
Yeah, it's like a hip hop gossip guy. And I'm not mad at him because he ain't forced nobody to talk. I don't like his line of questioning, but if you gonna answer it, you gonna answer it. If you ask me, if DJ Vlad was to ask me questions, I'd be like, I ain't answering that. You crazy. Now, some people might be like, that's the answer. And I'm like, well, figure it out then, because it ain't coming out my mouth directly. Like, what's wrong with you? What you mean? Was I there the night of the robbery? Huh? What kind of question is that? Like, no, I don't. What robbery? What are you talking about? Just playing video games. You know what I'm saying?
Is he even a DJ?
That's the thing. I don't know, and I've never cared to look up the dude's I was going to say Vlad's backstory. I've never cared to look it up, but apparently he's in an issue right now because he's being slammed for threatening to report a Princeton professor who said Drake and Kendrick beef is a black folk affair. I just want to note that I actually don't agree with this professor here. I mean, I don't technically.
I'm like, I've been talking about this for the last 14 years. I feel like.
I get no. All right, let me try that. I gotta smooth out the rough edges of this one. But anyway, source for this we found is Complex, the magazine. Not that the situation is correct. This player's involved in DJ Vlad, Professor Morgan Jenkins, and Professor Morgan Jenkins. Listen, DJ Vlad found himself in hot water for going toe to toe with a Princeton professor over the weekend. Vlad, a Ukrainian American interviewer who has sparked debate for his controversial conversations with rappers, took to Twitter to share his opinion on Kendrick Lamar's Drake dissing track, Not Like Us. He just said, look, it needed a better mix. This is his opinion. It takes away from the song, right? I mean, all right, cool. He said his tweet went viral, prompting many to respond, including Princeton professor Morgan Jenkins, who said, look, you are white. This is a black folks affair, right? The pair went back and forth with Vlad tagging Princeton in his response to Jenkins, saying, wait, so a professor at Princeton is telling me that a white person shouldn't be allowed to voice their opinion about hip-hop. Is that how you interact with your students? Jenkins, a black woman, responded, what I'm saying is that you put your opinion in a discussion that is not needed. The conversation is and should center black people, not you. He then accused her of basically changing her words around. And implored Princeton to, fire her or look into this. I mean, look.
We're talking about mixes?
Right? Look. I want to bounce past it to you, but can I just give me a second?
Yeah. Okay. Take your time.
Yeah, let me breathe for a minute here. I don't agree with the professor, but I'm on her side. Does that work? Can I do that?
You can do whatever you want, buddy.
All right, thanks, man. Look. It's not that you talk about it. It's how you talk about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? To converse on things that are now taking a turn culturally, because this battle did take an internal black cultural issue, right? Who is black? Who is not? How much do you need to be black? What is blackness? Is it a ethnicity? Is it a race? Is it do you need a cultural pass even though you might be mixed? All of these issues are issues that remain and have remained unresolved in the black community for a while. So how you enter the conversation and likely who you have been is going to come into play when you are having this conversation. Let me put it in layman's terms. All right. Your two homeboys of the same ethnicity are arguing something within their ethnicity, something about their culture, right? Be it race, ethnicity, nationality, whatever. They're having a discussion. You jump in and be like, I just think, like, y'all are arguing too loud. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, hold on. Like, the fuck you need to say anything for, like, you just had to say some shit? That's what this DJ Vlad thing sounded like. Like, okay, I haven't said anything about this that has that's been notable, so I need to insert myself into it. That's what it felt like, right? But, I mean, it's at this point, man, like, okay, go ahead. I'm done. Let me back up.
Well, first of all, the sense I get is that he was probably saying a lot about this all along, much like everybody else.
Like I said, he wasn't saying anything that anybody cared to repeat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I have a couple pieces. Let's try and keep this positive. A couple pieces of advice for DJ Vlad. First, you commenting on the mix of perhaps I would say one of the dopest things to come out of this battle situation, because that track is legit.
Yeah, sorry.
Right? Like I literally, you saw videos of people spinning it at the club on Saturday night, right?
Yeah. They played it at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
Kev.
So they played
right
off the bat.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Hold your thought 1 second. Okay? They played it at Dodger Stadium, and a gang of the crowd was yelling "OV ho."
Nice.
At Dodger Stadium. So, all right, now go ahead. Go back to your point.
Hey, man. So you talking about the mix is kind of like if somebody's nice enough to give you a weed cookie and you want to complain about the cookie quality. How well it's baked.
Not round enough.
Yeah. How much baking soda or how much sugar you used in the cookie. It's like, no, that's not really what we're talking about here. That's not the space that we're sort of having this conversation in, Vlad. So that's one problem. So he got a lot of goofy points just for posting it, which I think a lot of people said. The other thing is, okay, to your point, for better or for worse, most of the people that I saw posting videos on YouTube about this beef, which I tried to avoid for the first 18 songs, are white guys who seem to know something about hip hop. Definitely seem to know more about Kendrick and Drake's romantic history than I do.
Sure.
So, whatever the case may be. And then what I couldn't figure out, and you could help me with this, if I was him, I would have just said, well, you came into my white comments to say what you said.
Right. Like,
so, but then just leave it at that. The whole thing, obviously the thing that most people were upset about was the fact that he was just like, jumped right to, calling the manager.
Can I explain that I won't get into I've made the same mistake that Vlad made before.
Oh.
I was really comfortable with a group of my friends on Facebook early in the first Facebook years. There was a debate going on. I thought I knew something that I should have shut my mouth on, and I got called out for it. And I should have been called out for it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't my place. Wasn't my place, wasn't my conversation. I had no business commenting. And I took my L and apologized profusely because they were absolutely right. Like, yo, what the fuck you even... you cool and all, but what the fuck you even doing here? It's like, you're right. Yeah, absolutely right. I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, like, you're cool, you're comfortable. You're in a space that you've existed in. Mine was more personal, right? Which made it, in a sense, a little worse because I should have known better. But his is broad. Everyone can listen to and interact and discuss hip-hop music. It's out there. These records are not being made exclusively for black people. And there's no way you can regulate that. Yes, the tones and messages in some of these records are specifically curved and centered around our experiences. You know what I'm saying? But you can't regulate ears, and you're not going to regulate opinions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'd like to believe that the professor would completely agree with everything you just said.
She would definitely agree. I know what she was just like, yo, dude, shut up already. That's where she's coming from.
And that's kind of what led me to believe that she had probably read, 3 million other tweets that he sent out in the previous 2 hours or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, sometimes you just gotta take that L, man. That's the biggest problem with social media is that you can't say anything anymore, Trek. No,
I'm not doing it.
The biggest problem with social media is that it has made, it's almost as though the rules of Twitter are that you can say anything you want, but you cannot, under any circumstances, look at yourself and maybe apologize for putting your foot in your mouth.
No, but and that's why I like Threads, because you can mute people's comments for everyone. You can make them invisible to everyone, so this person is going off and no one else can see it.
Yeah, I've said stuff like on social media where somebody came back to me and I could have said, well, if you would have read what I wrote, because
which is what I often say,
it was somewhat misinterpreted. What people, a lot of people say that, which I kind of understand, but still, it's like, like I said, I don't even remember what it was about, but I wrote something and somebody got upset at me and I didn't apologize profusely, but I was like, this is I could have said that better. And then someone even commented later, you could edit it. I was like, nah, I'll go ahead and take it.
Yeah, we
can leave it at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take my L. Depends on the situation. Speaking of taking L's, man. Okay, so I think we're over. I think this battle is over.
I don't know. All
right.
I tell you what, I do know. I don't care.
Okay. I was going to say,
and I'm not saying it's over for me. I'm not going to be, Mr. Tough Guy listening from a elderly age in a galaxy far, far away. Because if somebody else puts something out, I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, we're going to listen to it. That's how it works, right? Yeah. I listen to every song. Maybe not immediately when it dropped, but I listen to every song. I mean, and I immediately when it dropped, like an hour after, because they were dropping songs. Like at some point, they were putting out like a song every 3 hours. I'm like,
can I tell you what I did on Friday night? Because I also had kind of a busy Saturday, so I knew I wanted to chill out, and I think everyone went to sleep kind of early Friday.
Yeah.
So I had a drink. Relaxed. I didn't have anything else I really, really needed to do. So I was like, let me try and figure out what the hell is going on. Like as though I actually care, right?
Yeah.
And so I saw a couple, at this point there have been a few like, TikTok kind of timeline articles from the Big Sean song that was 10 years ago or whatever. And Kendrick said that he didn't like the way Drake wore his Gordon Gartrell shirt or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
All the way until now. And so I'm like, okay, so I have this list. Now I have a running list of these 15 songs or whatever that now includes all the ones that just came out. And I was like, okay, so now I can listen to all this stuff from, and I was like, and I have, YouTube has videos with the lyrics in it, so I can actually read what these guys are saying since I don't understand what half of what they're saying to put it in context. Guess how much of that playlist I listen to?
How? None?
None.
None. I fast forward through songs, man. I just want to admit it now, man. This is like if y'all can see my face, man, I'm defeated. I just be like, now it's sort of like YouTube videos, right? Like if you go, anyone who goes on YouTube looking to learn how to do something, like it's like, hey man, I gotta fix this thing on my car or whatever, right? So I'll go look, and the dude introduces himself and all that. I'm like, man, it's just, where is the part when you tell me what's going on. Like,
Get
and I know
to
I'm
the
not
point.
Yeah, like, man, yeah, whatever your name, just where is the part where you fix the light? Like, now, cool, right? And I know I'm not the only one because now I look at YouTube waves, and that's how I know. You know how they had the waves, like, with the most popular.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Dude, it'd be like, boom.
Yeah.
And I go right to it, and I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody listening to none of this. Even my own YouTube videos. I'll look and be like, people literally was like, what was the damn score? And then they log off like, just read the stats off, buddy. So,
speaking of all the car issues that you've brought up during this episode, I want to ask you one thing.
Sure.
Because I'm not the most mechanically inclined person in the world, but you also know that I'll try and figure out how to fix something if I need to, right?
Absolutely.
When it comes to cars, I know I think pound for pound, hands down, you know more than I do. I really do.
But okay.
But I will try and fix things, especially on an old car that I shouldn't have to pay anybody to touch. But let me ask you something, and I want to know, there's a chance you're going to clown me, and if so, go for it. Of all the complex mechanical items in the engineering that goes into making an automobile move from point A to point B, all those moving parts, right? Some of which I would never try to fix or mess with. But just think of the things that you might actually be able to tinker with and realistically think that you have a shot at fixing. Why are windshield wipers the most incredibly fucking impossible things to figure?
This is how I feel about and people, you guys are gonna laugh so hard. This is how I feel about headlamps. I'm like, yo, windshield wipers and headlamps, like the rear, like brake lights and rear lights are super easy. They're fine. Headlamps, it's like, at least in my car, it's like you get the space to actually
to get to it.
It's like, yo, dude, is this made for human hands? This is crazy. So yeah, the engineering on cars is like enough for you to take it for them to get it fixed. That's basically what they're trying to do.
Maybe what you need is some Japanese hands.
Well, I have a few in this house, but they ain't helping me do nothing. That's for sure. One full and two halves, and they not doing nothing.
Oh man, my little girl was trying to tighten something, like a screw today, and she's like, I don't know which way to turn it. I was like, oh baby, we're gonna have some work we got to do. You're getting too old. Yeah. Hey man, we got to get out of here though. It's been fun. Vlad is so ridiculous, man. Oh, I think the world's longest battle is over, y'all. We can all go back to our regular lives. Probably over the summer, another thing is going to drop. Yeah, you can go back to finishing listening to Taylor Swift's new album.
Yeah. Produced by the same producer. Some of the songs produced by the same producer that produced.
Yeah, that was
K-Dot's first tune.
That went bad.
Yeah. All right, man. It sounds like we actually for real leaving the house. Like, all right, man, I'm going to catch you later.
All right. Yep.
All right, yo, we out of here like last year, man. This has been Rap 6 Radio. Thank y'all for tuning in. I am your homeboy, Trek Life. That dude over there is your fam, Kev Dakota, man.
Word up. See you at the game tomorrow.
I will catch y'all next time. We out of here like last year, man. On the count of three, we say peace. 1, 2, 3. Peace. Rap6radio.com.
Yeah. RSR Podcast.